Bell rolls is the reporter thrown into the secretive world of the Forex Super Model, where nothing is as it seems. Beware the techno monk, and steer clear of Professor Code and his two assistants. Give the senior trader a wide berth, and don't expect any sense from the risk manager.
Good morning, I'm Professor Code and this is the Forex Super Model daily briefing for Friday the 3rd of the 9th, 2021. Time is just coming up to 0440, 20 to 5 in the morning GMT. Asian session coming to close, European session firing up our lunchtime, North American session. Right, yesterday, Thursday the 2nd then, we had a positive opposed driver in the pound at plus 137. Front and back door flows mainly going out of the dollar at minus 107, out of the yen at minus 86, and the euro was the positive rock at plus 56. Activity plus or minus 193. Intra-week then, this is the most relevant because it's from Monday the 30th of the 8th, beginning of the week to about 15 minutes ago. We've got a positive opposed driver in the euro at plus 201. Front and back door flows mainly coming out the yen at minus 197, out the dollar at minus 159, and the pound is a positive rock at plus 135. Activity plus or minus 356. Right, so over the week then we've had the euro positively driving, just with weakness in the yen, weakness in the dollar, and a little bit of backdoor strength in the pound. And yesterday we've had a positive driver in the pound, so the pound's basically moved up yesterday, and we've got dollar weakness, so the pound moved up and the dollar moved down basically. So you've got this like shifting gears in the pound and the dollar. Intraday then, this is the Asian session to about 15 minutes ago. We've got an unopposed negative driver in the dollar at minus 17. Front and back door flows, although we've got a neutral rock, mainly going into the pound at plus 11. Into the euro at plus 6, and the yen is the neutral rock at 0. So it's in a state of dynamic static equilibrium. Right, so that's where we are there. We'll stop that and we'll write up the flows. Right, we're back. We've written up the flows then. So the euro is strong except against the AUD and the NZD. The yen is weak across the board. The pound is strong except against the euro, the AUD and the NZD. The Swiss is strong except against the euro, the AUD and the NZD again. The CAD is weak except against the yen. The AUD is strong except against the euro and the NZD. And the NZD is strong across the board. And the dollar is weak except against the yen and the CAD. So what have we got? We've got yen weakness across the board. And we've got NZD strength across the board. Right, and take your pick in the middle. Right, so what's been knocking it about? We've had China service PMI negative below 50. So that's already happened. We've got Euro retail sales today, and we've got NFP, non-farm payrolls, and US service PMI. So we've got sort of quite a busy week, end to the week. Looking into next week, Monday's relatively quiet data-wise, and Tuesday the 7th of the 9th is Reserve Bank of Australia rates decision and Euro GDP. And the other thing of note going around is that Japan's PM Suga is to resign due to perceived poor performance. Right, so I'm sure that won't set a trend, but anyway, there you go. So that's where we are there. So we'll stop that and write up the asset classes. So don't go away. Right, welcome back. We've written up the asset classes then. So US dollar index, basically it had a double top, it broke, it's come back, it's 0.36 from the high, so it's come off just over a third from the modelled high. So the dollar's relatively weak. Gold in theory should like that. It's now 40% from the high. So it does like it, but it's not liking it that much. Oil had big pump up, went back to base camp, and it's now 0.45 from the high, 45% from the high off the peak. Strong day in oil yesterday. Wall Street then, series of new highs. It's just sub high. S&P and tech are basically series of new highs again, and they're hanging in at the tops. That's where we are on equities. US 10-year then, this is the price. Big thump off in the price, so yields rose for a while, and then big rush up in the price. Yields soft in the US, and they've just come back marginally. So we're 0.18 from the high, we're 18% from the modelled high. Excuse me. Basically, yields are relatively weak in the US in the 10-year sense. Bund, likewise, 0.36 from the high. So the price has come off. Yields are strengthening up in the Eurozone. Arguably, they're slightly outstripping US yields now. So you've had strength in the euro dollar to back that up. Copper chopping, big break, big thump down, and it's now 0.45 from the high. So it's soft but coming back. And US steel, likewise, it did a break. It's now 0.36 from the high, 36% from the modelled high. So still not really, still in this range really. Right, so let's get rid of that and then do the final analysis. So we had inklings earlier in the week that we were going to see a floor in the dollar and a top in the euro, and the market just carried on steady. The data was the data noise basically, and the prints were not supportive of that, of the flows, and they overwhelmed the flows. And so where are we? Let's have a look. 106, right? So during the week then we've got this euro just about driving positively, and the yen just about nearly negatively driving. So you've got yen weakness, euro strength. You've got dollar strength, dollar weakness, minus 159, and pound strength. So you've got this sort of situation. You've got the yen and the dollar on the negative side, and the pound and the euro on the positive side. Now the dollar moved in terms of flows. So the dollar has gone down. The pound is starting to come up, and the yen. So the yen's been pretty negative off the back of arguably the equity transmission and the fact that the flows have got to go somewhere. Right. So the Asian session then, we've got this unopposed negative driver in the dollar. It's unopposed. And that normally means one of two things, as we often say. It either means that this is a floor in the dollar, a temporary floor, or it means it's the start of manoeuvring for a further ramp down in the dollar. And you've got the yen. The yen is like neutral, so they're sort of waiting. And bear in mind this is NFP day, so we're sort of parked. And then you've got the positive end of the game, which is the euro and the pound. Now, this is the key thing here, isn't it? Really, is this a floor in the dollar, or is it a further start of a further ramp down? Now, the taper argument that they're putting off the taper sort of feeds into the idea that the dollar is going to get weaker. Inflationary data is starting to look like it's coming off, particularly in China, and that will feed through to PMIs and what have you in the service and the manufacturing sector. So arguably you could say that the inflation's coming off, and that the taper is going to be delayed, ultimately meaning that the Fed's not going to tighten anytime near soon, and so you could argue that the dollar's got further to go, and we think the NFP, you had a weak ADP. If you get sort of a neutral to weak non-farm payroll, which is quite possible, then you're likely to get a further weakening in the dollar until the dollar fully bottoms out. Because bear in mind, these are just Asian flows, and what we're looking for is this situation on a intra-week or intra-day chart where basically that's situation will be more relevant. So looking at it, then we expect the dollar to carry on going down, If the dollar goes down, it will be fairly risk on for assets. So we expect the yen to be negative. So you're going to have this, and the positive flows are going to go into the euro and into the pound. So you want to be long pound euro, short dollar yen of some combination. And if you get a fall in the dollar, you're going to get a risk on in terms of commodities. So you're going to get CAD, AUD, NZD, potentially on the up, and you're going to get Swiss potentially on the down. So and you're going to get equities on the up and commodities on the up. So that's where we're looking at for NFP Friday. Likely to see further falls in the dollar, further falls in the yen, and the opposing positive flows are going to end up in the euro, the pound. Commodity currencies will probably come up, Swiss will come off, and equities and commodities will be charging up. So I hope that was useful. See you tomorrow for the weekly review, which is the data cycle and flow cycle reviews. If not, see you Monday, and thank you for watching.